Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Fieldstone4U. We will be recording this session, and Robin will be posting it to our YouTube channel so you can access it at a later date. And we encourage you to share this with your staff. We know that a lot of people are on vacation, and it's just kind of a busy time of the summer before kids get back to school, even though we don't know what that will completely look like. But regardless, we know that people have a lot going on. So we will record it, and we do hope that you share it with your team. Robin had several people that said that they wanted to access it later. So we hope that, we know you're going to find this very valuable. I ask that you rename yourself. I think most of you have already done it, to your name and your organization so that we can see what organizations are here on the visit with us today. This is very interactive. We encourage you to raise your hand if Netta's in the middle of something and she can answer you. If you want, you can put it in the chat. We'll do our best to get that information to Netta, but it is an interactive session. So we really hope that you feel comfortable enough to just share your questions, ask away. That's how we learn. I do ask that when you're not talking that you mute yourself just so that we don't hear little dogs barking like mine. So I ask that you just mute yourself when it's not your turn to talk. I first of all want to thank First Republic. Marin is on today. It's always great to see her smiling face from First Republic. They're our fiscal sponsor of these wonderful Zoom webinars. We're so grateful for First Republic for being a sponsor and a friend to Fieldstone Leadership Network. So we appreciate you being here, Marin. Thank you so much. Just some housekeeping tips, not even housekeeping, more recruiting. We are actively recruiting for our book club, our leadership reading group. We've gotten some more applications in. So I think we maybe only have 2 spots left. So if you are a reader, and that means you can listen, you can read, whatever your methodology is, we encourage you to participate. We start in September. We actually start reading in October, and it will run through June. We will offer a hybrid technology this year. So if you are unable or not comfortable with meeting in person, we will have the Zoom capability set up so you can Zoom in. We start at 12, we're done at 1:30. Usually we have lunch. If you come to the office, we will buy you lunch. And we just sit around and we chat about the books that we have read, and we read all through the lens of leadership. And so we read fiction and nonfiction and prescriptive nonfiction or trade books. And I'll tell you, this is my 4th year participating. And I have read and analyzed books that I would have never picked up off of a bookshelf. So it forces you to read kind of out of your normal genre, but it's just such a great way to study leadership. And you'd be surprised with some of these works of fiction, and you think, how is this a leadership book? And it's pretty awesome how the conversation comes back to how it really empowers us as leaders. And then the goal is that we empower you so that you could go back to your team and have a leadership reading group at your work. And so many times you might have some issues going on or some challenges, and sometimes you just bring a book into the group and everybody reads it and discusses it. And lo and behold, these issues have worked themselves out, and it's all through literature. So we encourage you to apply, get your application to Robin as soon as you can. And we would love to have you join us. Michelle, who is on the call, was in our first group, and so much fun having her with us then. And some people, take a year off, and then some people come back in. And oh, Michelle, I'd love to have you come back. So yes, we do have a couple spots. So make sure you get that to Robin Stropko. So it's really a neat experience. We have our learning groups that will start in January. So this year, because of COVID, we started in March and are finishing up next week and the week after. So we are still in learning group mode, where normally we would be completely off for the summer. But we will start again in January, and we run through June. So if you would like to participate in a learning group, if you know somebody on your team or another organization that would like to participate, we encourage you to come and join us. Netta, I'm going to kind of jump ahead. Netta is in a learning group that I'm facilitating this year, and started just talking about technology in our Peaches and our Pit segment of our program, and kind of what has helped her in her organization. And I mean, all of us were just feverishly writing down what Netta was telling us. And I thought, wow, this is something that is really needed right now. And so I asked if Netta would present at the beginning of our next learning group and just give 15 minutes out of our learning group and have her share her tech tips with our cohort. And it was so incredible. I thought, okay, now this is just too much. I need to have her share her knowledge with the entire network. And so that's why I asked her to join us today. And I'm so grateful and pleased to introduce Netta. Netta graduated from the University of California, Irvine with her bachelor's degree in sociology. Her passion for working with the community led her to become the senior program director for VitaLink, where she delivers programs helping students start on the right path toward their future careers. As I said, Netta is in the Sears nonprofit leaders learning group. We will finish up next week, which we just were saying, we just can't believe it's already over. But I just know you're really going to enjoy hearing from Netta. And as I said, it will be recorded, so you can come back and get the information that you want. And then also, I'm sure Netta would be happy to chat with you offline and share some resources with you. But Rob and Stropco will, be putting some resources into as Netta shares them. But very quickly, before we begin, if you wouldn't mind just going around and introducing yourself and tell us, we can see your name and your title, but we still want to hear from you. So your name, what you do at your organization, and if you have just a very quick, I don't want to take too much time away from Netta's presentation, but a tech challenge maybe that you're experiencing right now. So I'm going to popcorn it to Wendy Weeks, and then Wendy can popcorn it from there.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Wendy Weeks, and I'm currently the administrative director at Mecca. And that's for about another week or so. And then I'm heading over to a new position over at Girl Scouts Orange County in their fundraising department, or development department, fundraising. You all know what development means. When you tell your friends development, they're like, huh? So yeah, then my tech thing is we're actually working through a I guess you could call it a challenge, being an organization that works with private information and working with HIPAA laws and everything. We were in the process of looking for resources that would provide encrypted emails, storage. I think that's it. Anyway, so we were looking for that type of information, and that was a bit of a challenge. We think that we have found a resource, but if anyone has something they'd like to pitch in with, we're definitely open to that. We're actually making a huge move. I'm really happy to say that I was able to help to spearhead this before leaving, to move from Google Suite to Office 365 here. So that will also help with a lot of security issues and encryptions and so forth to help start that whole arena of craziness. So unfortunately I won't be here during the transition, but at least I was able to help kick it off. I look at Melinda keeps laughing at me. Yes, I know it's the craze. I just started the craze and help pass it off. Anyway, way too much time. Sorry, everyone. I will popcorn it over to Melinda since she was laughing at me so much.
Laughing with you, not at you.
Understanding.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melinda, and I'm very new to 1OC. So I know I can already identify a lot of challenges, but I don't know how legit they are. So I want to allow some time for me to learn and question with curiosity and kindness. That's what I really want to focus on. So I can tell you all about some challenges in my previous organization, but that won't help us. So I am here to listen because I always get something out of gatherings like these from Fieldstone. So thanks. Oh, popcorn. Michelle.
Michelle Reinhardt, me?
Oh, that's a good question because there are two of you. I was looking at Michelle Reinhardt's picture. So
okay, well,
yeah,
I'll continue. So hi, everybody. Nice to meet you all. I am Michelle Reinhardt with Innovative Housing Opportunities. I am the Director of Operations, so I am responsible for the IT in our office, and we've made huge strides, and I think it's what's kept us with business continuity is moving to Office 365 and SharePoint. So everything's in the cloud, and that has been allowed us to work remotely, and it's been phenomenal. We do use a lot of different automation technology, but I think that the challenge is how do you optimize it? So for example, we're using Office 365, but I know we're not using Microsoft Teams to the best of its ability. And how do you get staff trained? You know, everybody's just jumping in and it's like you're on Teams and you're using it, but you're not really learning it. So that's the challenge, is really, I think, follow-up training to the technology and keeping things organized, files and naming conventions, and get everybody on the same page. So thank you. And I'll pop, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, popcorn it.
Oh yeah, and I'll popcorn it to Marin.
Thanks, Michelle. Good morning, everybody. I'm Marin McGill with First Republic Bank. And I think our tech challenge is that we have some team members who are returning to the office and some who are continuing to work from home. And so I think our technical capabilities are pretty good with the bank, but it's a matter of kind of engaging and incorporating everyone and making everybody feel like they can contribute despite what their circumstance and location may be. So I'm not sure if that's something that we can address here, but that's kind of our biggest issue right now. So, and I will send it over to Michelle Warner. I hope I'm not saying that incorrectly.
That's good. Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Warner. I'm the Associate Vice President of University Advancement at Chapman University, and I oversee operations, administration, donor relations, systems, events, things like that. So all the working behind the scenes things for advancement. And like Marin, we have hybrid. We're entering a hybrid model for things that I really want to learn some efficiencies, streamlining, and just really good tools of engagement to make sure that we're engaging our team members, whether they're remote or they're on site, and how to really keep the enthusiasm up and us all learning together in this new environment. Yeah. Thank you. Nice. And I'll pass it on to Ari.
Hi, I'm Ari. I work with Meta Vitalink. I'm the Career Exploration Program Manager, and I predominantly work with majority high school students and some college students to kind of help them identify their career interests, or at least where they'd like to start. And then we kind of help guide them through their path with potential mentorships, meeting industry professionals. And then of course, our goal is to get them enrolled into a college of their dreams. Thank you. Was there anyone that we have not called?
I think Thomas House. I don't know who is. Oh, hi.
Hi. Sorry, I'm joining late. What's the question?
That's okay. Just tell. We're asking everybody to rename themselves, but just tell everybody your name and what you do at Thomas House, and if you have any tech challenges right now.
I'm Delaney Lanusa. I'm the operations director here at Thomas House. I oversee all the operations, and I help a little bit with HR, IT, and then financial information. And we are not super tech savvy, so just anything that we can improve or, new tips that we can implement would greatly appreciate our tracking system.
Excellent. Okay, Robin, you didn't introduce yourself.
Hi, Robin Stropko, the other Robin. I think I was always happy with Dropbox. I'm finding out that there may be better through actually my reunion committee about changing or document being changed at the same time and not when more people are open. So I'm curious if something better than that. But we use Dropbox and we use Splashtop, which is really good when we're at home. So I'm just always curious to know what's out there.
Good. Thank you. Okay, well, welcome everybody. Can't wait. Netta, you're on.
All right. Thank you. It's great to meet you guys and see some familiar faces here as well. I'm going to start off by giving you guys the 2 or 3 main things I'm going to cover. And I'm just going to share my screen and go through the steps of, how I would use each of these platforms for a particular event or, program that I would want to use it for. And so in our organization, since we got sent home, we started using Slack, which if you have Teams, it's sort of the same in terms of chatting, but I think Slack is a little bit more user-friendly because you get to have multiple Slack groups. So you can have outsiders and insiders and people for your organization only, and I'll go through that a little bit. And then the next one is Trello, and it is basically a online tech savvy to-do list, and it's a live to-do list that you can share, have it just for yourself as private, or you can have it as a public thing, and you can share it with others just to make sure that you keep everybody up to date on what's going on, what you're doing. It sends out due dates and reminders and all of that. And the last thing is the diagrams.net, which is a feature through Google. So if you have a basic Gmail, you can actually use diagrams.net, and it is a great resource for anything that you want to do in terms of like figuring out processes and diagrams and flow charts and everything. And I'll go through all of those. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen and start. And please feel free to please stop me and ask your questions out loud as soon as I go through any point that you need clarification on. So the first one I want to show you guys is Slack. Let's actually just open. So this is our Slack. You can customize the colors as your own. And as you can see, this is just the VitalLink one. So the members of this Slack channel are only our internal VitalLink team members. And within it, we have our channels, and we can have open channels, or we can have private channels that are specific to only certain members of our team. So we have several channels that are made private just for the leaders and managers of the organization. And the coordinators and people in fundraising development don't always have access to that, because this is what we do internally, just to chat amongst ourselves and make sure that we have everything that we need set up. And then we also can have personalized direct messages to either one person or to a certain group of several people. And you can see there's really no limit. You can have just 2 people, you can have multiple, just one person, or 5 or 6. And what happens with this is that this becomes a list of people that you've talked to most recently. So if you develop a group with like 5 people, and you don't talk to them for a month, messages kind of go further towards the bottom. But as soon as you go to add a message and type up your names, all of your old messages do pop up. So just for example, I'm gonna open up again our brainstorming session channel that we've had going on, and this is a channel that we have in our group. And you can tag a certain representative to grab their attention by putting the @ sign, and then you can see all the names of all the representatives that are in the channel that pop up. And I'm going to tag Ari, and you can see she has actually, let me do it really quickly. So she's actually connected this to her calendar, so you can see that she's in a meeting because she's right here with us on this call. And so it's connected to her Google calendar, so we can always see whenever she's in a meeting. So if she does not respond to us, we will know. Or if she's not on the clock yet and she's offline, we will know that as well. And so you can message her, and Ari will get a direct notification telling her that I've tagged her. I've sent her a message with tagging her in the brainstorming session channel. And if Ari sees it and she starts to reply back, and she goes back to send a reply, you will see a little thing pop up that Ari is typing. Just like that. And there we go. And she's tagged me. And then with that, I can actually go in and do reply in a thread, which will do a direct reply just underneath that message. And in our main chat, let me open this up so it's bigger. You will see that it just says reply in thread. So it's not like a whole giant thing that everyone has to follow. It's just a thread directed to this particular message. And if you click and reply in thread, you can come back up here and you'll see what's going on.
So Netta, so clearly
Yes.
this would be amazing when you're working remotely, when you're all at home and,
yeah, we do it remote, and the managers have started going in the office since 3 weeks ago, and we use it because our offices are, we all have our own individual offices. So if you don't want to walk over to your offices and ask a question, or if you're in the middle of a meeting and you can't walk away from your desk because you're on a Zoom call, this is a great way to iMessage her on here. It's kind of like IMing from a couple of decades ago, I message her and ask her to come over to my office because I need her help on a call. That's actually how we've
And
been
this is
using it.
what program is this?
This is Slack, and Slack is actually free for nonprofits. So I would really recommend nonprofits. I mean, to get it if it's useful for you, because it's a great messaging process. I am not very familiar with using Teams because we have Google Suite, G Suite, and Slack only since the beginning. So if this is just like Teams and you don't want to add another technology to your organization and confuse your team members, totally understandable. And Ari's put the links in the chat for you guys, just in case. All right, and you guys can see, I have my two Brians, Brian Dozer, my boss, and Brian Anderson, messaging me. So the messages show the chat channels come up in bold. Once those are in, there's new messages in them, and you can, if you hover over them, you can see there's Brian and Brian Anderson, and Misha all in one chat. So there's 3 people in that, and they've been talking. And then I'm gonna actually go on to Trello. From there, I'll show you how we can connect Trello to our Slack. So there's notifications popping up within the Slack channel connected to what you're doing on your to-do list on Trello. So this is what Trello looks like. You can see there's already a bunch of boards on my Trello account because I'm one of the administrators for our organization. So I have access to everybody's to-do action list that they've made. We have lists or boards made for particular tasks like grant development, college fairs, summer academies, tech updates, our hub, the big events that are coming up, and so forth. And we also have personal to-do lists, which you can see I have mine, Brian has his, and Ari has hers. And you can see Brian has a little lock on his. So that one is private. Only board members can see it. So our coordinators who are not part of this board, if they log into Trello, this board will not pop up on their list. Mine will pop up. It'll pop up on mine because I'm a member of it and I'm part of the admin, and Ari can see it because she's one of the managers, but our regular coordinators cannot see it. So you can make sure that as a manager, if there are certain items that you have on there that are, have certain privacy sets to it, that's okay. No one else will see it. And you can also see that our entire Trello account for VitaLink is actually private, which means we cannot share our Trello board with outside of VitaLink members. We have to add you in as one of our members first before you can actually have access to any of the boards. And on the members list, you can actually see who are the members that are a part of our Trello account and how many boards they have access to. So if Victoria logs on, she will only see the one board that she has access to. Dennis will see 9, and Brian will see all 11, and so forth. And to make a board, it's actually very simple. You go to create a new board, and we're going to call it the Leadership Book Club, because I think we should have a to-do list, and to make sure that everyone's on the same page for this event that's coming up. And you can actually, just for the fun part of it, pick a background that, sorry, not the books. You can actually pick a background that you would like that fits the theme of your board that you're creating. And then you've created your board. And so this becomes your personal board. Now, this is a workplace visible. That means everyone in the workplace can see it. That means all of our members. And I can invite very particular people like Ari to my board. So that means she is a member of my board. And within a board, you will make several lists, and each list will have its own items on it. So I will add a list, and I will say member list. And if you type in, and if you press enter, it'll go to the next list. Or if within it you want to continue working on this, you're just going to add cards, and this will be the several cards that you will have within one list, which will basically be items within one list. And I'm going to say education members. for example. And if you press enter, it'll go to the next card for you to add, or you can double click on the card and it'll open up. And so within this card, you can add in a description so everyone knows what you meant by adding in this title, education members, book club, sorry, just got, there we go. Book club members from OC schools. And you can add a label to it. So internally, if I know all education members are the color green, my card will be the color green. If I need to have these members decided by the 20th, then the due date is 20th, and I can set up my reminders for 1 hour before 10 a.m. on August 20th. So at 9 a.m., I will get a reminder saying this due date is coming up, and I can save it. And I can also put in attachments on here. So as you guys can see, when you go to attachments, you have your personal computer, which is your desktop, other Trello areas, your Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, and OneDrive. And you can, if there is a link to a location on Google Drive, you can just put the link on here. You can go on your computer and documents will pop up from here. So you can go in and put in like a PowerPoint presentation in there if you would like, and any document will go easily in here. And that way, members can comment on it, like needs work. And if you go into comment and you open it, you can download it and work for yourself. So instead of sharing documents with people through email, you can just store everything right on here. And then you can add a location. So if you decide you will be at the Starbucks in Santa Monica for your book club, that's where your Starbucks location will be. So it'll keep yourselves on track of the different locations that you have in mind. And then you can also connect them to different things like the Slack channels that we had. So the way that you connect them through different integrations are what's called power-ups in Trello. And to add a power-up, you just click add power-up and all these different power-ups will come up. And these are different things that you can add to connect Trello to all the different other platforms that you guys use. And you guys can go through, and different platforms would be for file management, development, communication, and so forth. But I want to add in Slack on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add Slack to my board. And then I'm going to close it out. I'm going to come back on here and you guys can see that Slack is right on there because it's been added. And then I want to send this board or this card to a Slack channel or a direct message. So I want to send as a direct message and I want to send it to Ari. And it sends a message to Ari. And then if I bring up my Slack and I go down to my direct messages to Ari, you guys can see there's my message to Ari. Review's done. In case she needs to know about our leadership book club. And then you can always actually send messages to a direct channel. So we were in our brainstorming channel earlier today. And so they've sent a message to the brainstorming channel as well. So if I go back and go up to my brainstorming session channel, there's my message again in the brainstorming channel. And Ari went in and she reacted to it. So she checked it and she saw it. And the reactions are all there. We can all go in and there's fun emojis, or there's, the professional ones that we tend to use just for work, just to confirm we've seen something, we agree with something, or we're very excited about something that's happening. With our Slack, we tend to use it for a mini storage area because there is no limit on number of files that can be on here. But while we're working on certain documents and want to store certain documents, we have it on here because you log into Slack on any device and all of your information is right on here. You can download the app on your phone and all your information and is on your phone. And if you ever want to look for any of the documents that have been sent, you can go to more. You can go to file browser, and this will bring up all of the files that we've shared. And this could be an image of, an example. a screenshot of something that I was trying to figure out what was the issue on my Zoom account. So I sent a screenshot of it to one of our tech team members that is on here. I was asking him for help for my Zoom not working efficiently. And there's also PDFs of, you know, example resumes that we have working up for students for them to look at good resumes, bad resumes, and so forth for the programs that we have. And then we have like outreach packets, old packets that we have that we're working on as a PDF file and so forth. And you guys can see we have videos, we have images and everything right on here for our team that's been shared. And then if you go back down, you can actually go into the channel. And within the particular channel, you can go in and click on the name and you can see the members that are part of the channel. And eventually, if we add integrations, you can set up integrations for yourself if you want to connect this to a different platform. And you can always go down and see the different files that were shared just in this particular channel. So it helps with organization. And so we have our channel set by events because it makes the most sense for us. So if I go to DMA competition and I scroll down, these are the files that were related to just the DMA competition for us. So I know where to look for certain things. But if I don't know which event a file is related to, I can always go to the top and go file browser. Is there any questions so far? Okay.
I have
Yes.
a couple. First, I am hearing a tapping. I don't know, everybody looks muted, so I don't know what that tapping is, but if for some reason you're typing at the same time, try not to. I don't know how everybody's muted, but
It has
just thought I'd
been
throw it out
my,
there.
because I don't hear it. So maybe it's my headphone that was like, because I only have one mute button.
Oh, so maybe it's
It has
feedback.
been that. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So Netta, I mean, this is so amazing. Like, you know, I use Outlook on it for everything, and I could see, you know, how helpful this could be with calendaring and everything. Are you self-taught? Like, did you just learn more as you just kept doing it? Do you suggest we just jump in and just start doing it? Or are there tutorials? How would we learn how to do this?
There are tutorials. If you go on YouTube, there are a lot of tutorials that we looked at for Trello because there was stuff on there. But Brian Anderson from Comprehensive Services is actually a great person who's helped me with everything that I'm teaching you guys, or I'm trying to explain right here, not still teaching. He has been teaching me, and he's been very patient going through all of this with me in the past year. And so I can do some work with him, and then I come on my own, and then Ari and I kind of like figure things out on our own. The biggest thing is don't be scared to click something and to make something, and if anything, you can just delete it later, because that's one of those big things. Because if you're afraid of, you know, creating a channel by mistake, that's okay. Channels can be deleted, and maybe you as just a regular member cannot delete, and you have to go to the admin of the group for them to delete it, but that's okay, because it's really hard to understand your capabilities with these things until you try them. So I've had some walkthrough with Brian Anderson from Telecomprehensive Services, and I'll be happy to refer anybody to him. He helps me with all the integrations, and basically his company has helped us make sure that everything works more smoothly and more efficiently. And so that we're not doing things, you know, by hand, because humans make a lot of errors, but if you have everything connect themselves and work smoothly, it works better in the long run. And then another thing that he's taught me is to be patient, because with things like Slack, we've had them since day one, and it was just like a chatting channel, so it worked really well, and everyone still uses it. But we have Trello, and as great as Trello is, there is always this learning curve with these things where representatives from your team love it and they all sign up for it. So you can see everyone on my team is on Trello, but not everybody has a to-do list on Trello, which means, you know, they've hit that peak where they love it, and they've made, I'm going to go back to some of our boards so you guys can see it. Like, you know, for our advisory boards, for example, there is material on here that they've made on to-do lists, and they've tagged people in them, which I'll show you guys just in 1 second. Or our college fairs, like there's a lot of information they've added on there, but it could be that after a certain time, they go back to their old habits of not updating Trello so that the other team members will know what's going on, or connecting Trello to the corporate Slack channel so that the managers will know what's going on, and so forth. So, and one of the biggest things is to always be very patient with entire organization's team members learning how to use these different programs, because it's very easy for us to slip back into old habits, and it's okay for us to, remember, oh my God, I forgot to do certain things, and come back and look through them. And sometimes when you go through these things, you will see something that might be labeled as overdue, but it's not overdue, just that team member forgot to come back in here and click done as they were working through these things. And these are just really great processes to make sure that we have everything completed at a certain time, and that it is there on record for us. Okay, so for one event, for like Newport Mesa College and Career Fair on October 21st, we did these things in them. So in a year, if there's new coordinators are in, and if there's new management that steps in, they can kind of follow these boards and know what they have to do. It's not just one person's personal notes and personal emails that kind of get disregarded over time. But going back to our boards, I want to go back to our leadership book club and talk about that same card, adding members. So you guys saw I had Ari on this entire board, but I might want Ari I want a new member like Autumn, just to look at this one particular card, because there might be tasks on here that's related to her and that she needs to complete, but she doesn't need to be involved in the entire board. So I can go in and add Autumn because she's already a workspace member. I can't, for example, come in and add Robin because she's not a part of our workspace. So first we need to have them as a member on our workspace, and then we can add them on here. And so if I add Autumn on here, you guys can see members will pop up as Ari, and then Autumn is on here as well. And if I ever need to, I can go in and I can remove her from the card as well. So if you add someone by mistake, again, it's fine. It can always be removed very quickly. So it's not a problem. And then the next thing on a card that we really love is our checklists. And you can call this checklist school lists. And you can see the checklist gets added on there. So they automatically organize them to make sure they're added on. And then this one can be Newport Mesa, and then Saddleback Valley, and USSD. And sorry, all the acronyms I know is just from my organization. So I don't even know if school districts participate in your book club. I think they should, because it'll be great for our teachers and admin. But just add them on there. And if you need to reorganize your list, if Anaheim is more important to come up, we'll just drag Anaheim and put them at the top of the list. And as you click them off your checklist, it'll tell you you're 33% complete. Or you can have it so you've high checked items. So as you click them, they just get taken off. So you don't have to worry about them. But if you want to see what you've done so far, you can see them. And then you can always actually just delete them as well, because you no longer checklist, it's irrelevant. And if you want to share them,
Netta,
yes.
and then if your supervisor wants to see what's going on, they have access to all of this. So I imagine there's all kinds of, access points.
Yes. So I am admin, so you can see my permissions. I am admin. So as admin level, I have access. And Ari, I'm not going to open your card. Is it okay if I open your card, Ari? Okay, good. Okay. So even though this is, and I've lost her card. Where'd she go? Okay, there we go. Even though this is Ari's to-do list, I can actually open it and I can see what's on her to-do list because I am on an admin level. But Autumn, who's just a coordinator, will not be able to see it unless she's tagged in, this card and so forth. Or unless Ari decides she wants to share her entire to-do list with her. So that's usually just how it works. And then going back to here again, you guys can see the Trello link is trello.com/couple characters and then leadership book club. So the name is on there. what you can do is you can copy this link and then coming back again to our Slack that we love. If we want to subscribe this board to our Slack channel so that we get all the notifications for what's going on, what you can do is you would just do / and Trello comes up and you click on it. And if you just press enter, you will get a whole series of explanations for different commands that you can use. And this will only be visible to you. So like Ari in this channel cannot see this. But all of these commands are kind of like there as an index for you to see what you can do in terms of integrations with Slack. So you and Slack and Trello together. So you can do add Trello and then teammate. So I can do /Trello Ari and then name the card. And it'll look just like that. So it gives you what it is. I can do / Trello at Ari add books. And oops, sorry. Oh, sorry. I had to add the URL. See, mistakes happen all the time. And so there we go. Trello and link. There we go. All right. Now we can, now we've added this link, everyone can see this and we can subscribe to it, which means that if there we go, you already subscribed. If I come on here and if I add new list, it'll come up on, it should come up on here. There we go. Ari, can you add oh, sorry. You can see Misha's already in here because I've added it to the channel. So remember, people have joined in to see what's going on.
So Nana, if I sent that to somebody, do they have to already have Slack and Trello, or if they don't have it, can they still join?
So if you make your Trello public, like down here, if you make your Trello public, anyone can join in on it. Ours is a workspace, which means only our members, or it can be private, which means only certain members at all. So if it's public, anybody can join in on it and see it. And then Slack, they have to log into Slack. So it would be like making an account with Facebook, for example. And they log in and they don't have to download the desktop version. They can log into through the browser.
Okay.
And it'll look the same. And the reason why I like Slack is, if you guys can see, this one is just for our members. And we have this one, which is for our Vitalink marketing, which actually has members from our board and different task forces and people who are not with the Vitalink OC Gmail. And we can add them. And then we have our nonprofit collaborative, which we meet once a month with different nonprofit organizations and kind of talk about different things that we can do to help each other. If we have, like we come across technology that we think is useful for others or marketing ideas, we can share them with each other just to make sure that we help each other as Orange County nonprofits. And so this one has a series of different members from all places, and we can always add new people. So this one is a more public one. And so you can have all of your different groups right on here, or I can make a whole new workspace, and I can find workspaces if I want to search for a particular one. If someone has told me I have like a Fieldstone workplace, look me up and we'll add you in there. I can always look them up and so forth. But it makes it really easy to go back and forth between the different channels and talk to people. And if you want to add in, all of these are connected through the Vitalink email, because the main person, the admin who made them, was Vitalink. And so if I want to connect representatives from here into my regular one, this is when you'll see the connections. And so if I go to add, I can start a new message with someone from another company on here. And I can add external people, start a whole new channel with external people, and I can still message them. So it just really depends on what your uses are. the way Vitalink has done it is that we've kept everything organized in terms of internal board members and task forces, and then all external. And so that way it keeps us organized in terms of like what information is shared with who. And so in our internal Vitalink, all the students' information that's shared, it's safe on here because it's only for ourselves and no one from outside can view it. The last thing I'm going to go into is our diagrams that I talked about. So you can go into diagrams.net to access them, or if you have a Gmail and you've logged in, you can go into the little dots on the side and scroll down, and you will see diagrams come up as one of the tools in Google. And once diagrams comes up, once you create some, you can go to open existing diagrams. We're going to create a whole new diagram, and you can see a whole bunch of different templates that they have. And as they're grouped differently based on what your needs are. And let's go with a basic flow chart to create them. And you just go yes, and it's root folder, which means the folder that the template came from. And so this is the template for the flow chart. You can double click into it and you can put in book club session 1, and you can click on the arrows and have them go backwards and forwards. And once you have your arrows connected to a box, you can move the boxes and the arrows will move along with them. If you want to add a whole new box and you want to connect a whole new arrow to it, you just hover over the box that you want to connect to the new one. And you guys can see the blue little lines that come from side of the box. You just click on the line and you drag it until the other box turns green, which means now it's connected. And once it's connected, you can move the box freely as you would like. And you can double click into any box and type in, or you can link it to a Trello board. So you can add the link in there. And if you don't want to add the link because it doesn't look professional and nice, you can highlight it and you can hyperlink that particular word to the link. So it looks more professional and nicer. And if you decide this was done by mistake, just click on it and then press delete. And click on the arrow and press delete, and it'll be as if it never existed. And so you can always add in just the text by itself as well, which you can move to the top. And you can make the text larger if you would like, bold it, a series of different fonts. And then you can always organize your boxes by color coding them. So all of the ones that are related to future books, Harry Potter, you can have them a certain color. So when outsiders are looking, they can recognize everything just by color really quickly. And then if you want to make it like a flow chart, like if they said no to Harry Potter, that's why you add the no there. And you can always click on text and then you can move it to wherever you would like. And then within here, if you look on the sidebar, there's a lot of different categories of different shapes and arrows that you have access to, that you can always add in. They're for you to use the best way that you see fit. And the way my organization has done it is as a training guide for someone to understand how we deliver an event from start to finish. So from getting a contract accepted all the way to delivering a program, there's different flowcharts for what to do and who does them and everything. And so they just follow the arrow and that's how they end up to where they need to go. And then let's say I want this flowchart to be shared on a meeting with someone. I just go to publish with a link and I copy the link. And then if I paste the link, it'll go right there. So you can see a
Wow.
clean version of your work that you've been doing. And then coming back here, if I want to insert this into a Word document, I will go to my Google Docs. And you guys can see that if I, sorry, let me show you really quickly. If I want to embed this in Google Docs, it has to be connected. So mine is already installed. And you can see it says it works with Docs. So I have to go in my Google Docs and it'll be an add-on. And these are the connections that are called add-ons in Google. So mine is already up here. If yours is not on here, you just go to get add-on and this screen pops up. This is similar to what we saw in Slack and similar to what we have in Trello. And you would just type in diagrams. And if you type in diagrams, you see that it's already installed. So we're good to go. So then all you do is you go to add-ons, you go to insert my diagram, and then this pops up. And because diagrams is through my account, so you guys can see it's through my Neta Arab account. And this is what all my drives and everything lives on my drive. I have it on here. So if I go down, I see it and it's here and I add it in. And if there's multiple pages, I could select which page, but ours is only one page and the rest of them are blank. So then you just click insert and it inserts the document and you can make them bigger if you need to. And the links are in there. So then they click the link and they come back here and they can work on it. The only key thing on here to always make sure you have is when you are, before you start sharing this on a Word doc or just the link for people to edit, you want to click on this share over here and look on your privileges that you have set up. So right now, I have restricted privileges, which means anybody only within VitalLink Education Business Consortium has access to it. So I just click on here to edit and make sure that anybody with the link can either view, comment on, or edit. And then I just save it. And then now if I were to share the link with this document to Robin, even though she's not part of VitalLink, she is not on my Google account, she can still go in, see the same exact page and start editing. Questions?
This is just amazing. I mean, I'm thinking of so many applications. So I have a question. If we
Yes.
did create like this, you know, for our book club, for example, and through internally, I'd share our book list, say with our members, and maybe this is just such a dumb question, but I mean, is there a way for me to lock a document to keep people from sending that to somebody else? Or once I send them the document, can they send that and do anything they want with it?
No, yeah, you can. So back on the share button, you would go back on here and you would change this to restricted again. And then you would have to share it directly with people. So Robin,
that's fine.
Sinclair, okay. Sorry, I got mixed up for a second.
We answer each other's email, it's okay.
So only Robin has access to it and she can edit. But if Robin tells me she's from Fieldstone, not from my workplace, and that's okay. And if Robin wants to share this link once she has access to it with like Delaney from Thomas House, Delaney won't have access to it and it has to say request access. So that's how you can make sure that only certain people get it, and you have to just type in their names or their emails on here. But then that person cannot share it with other people because I have restricted access.
Got it. Excellent.
Yep.
Questions? I'm sure there's plenty.
And this is also free. As long as you have a Gmail account, you have access to diagrams. And then,
Any questions? I think we're all just absorbing it all. It's a lot.
This process or this software that you're using right now, it's literally just called Diagrams and it's within Google.
Yeah, diagrams.net. So
Okay.
if you log in to your Gmail, you can go through the little Google apps on the side and it's towards the bottom, or you can just do diagrams.net
Perfect. Okay.
and you start and it'll if you're not logged into your account, it'll first ask you to like log in or give access to whichever Gmail account that you're using. And then you can start a new one. I want to open an existing one so you guys can see kind of my other workflows that I've done with my team. Bigger workflows. And you can see I've made them for types of questionnaires, virtual event planning, on-ground event planning.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so basically, Ari and her coordinators or Ari for her coordinators can tell them to look at this and they'll follow this to figure out what to do. And I've organized it so they follow the chart. And if there is an extension to the side, that is for the type of platform they're using to make, like, let's say the flyer, or to send out the outreach, or to collect the registrations. And so it's the way that you organize that would best make sense for your team. And for us, it is this kind of like open to the side kind of bar thing that explains what kind of platform to use for what step you're on. But for your team, it might be different.
Got it.
And
That's
we
great.
started very messy. So I don't know if you guys can tell this was like day one of me doing this stuff because it was very, very basic. And then as we got to like on ground stuff, it got a little bit more complicated because I got more pro with using diagrams and what I wanted. And it got better and so forth. And sometimes there's messy steps because there's multiple emails going out and coming back all in one place for a tracker. But sometimes it's really simple.
They are so lucky they have you.
Yeah,
I'm
no
lucky I
doubt.
have them because trust me, we all work together. So I just have a team that's okay and on board with bringing in new stuff, and they're patient with bringing in the new technology because you need a lot of patience for it.
Well, it's 11 o'clock, 11:01. I promised I'd get y'all out of here, but I do want to give you an opportunity to ask Netta questions. And her email is in the chat, and I know she'll be happy to answer questions offline as well and point you in the right direction. It seems to me that just like anything, you just have to get in there and just play around with it. You know, it's hard to just grasp it all until you just get in. So go ahead, Robin.
Okay, you had said that Slack is free to nonprofits. Is Trello free to nonprofits also?
Trello is not free, but it does have a, I think 40% or some serious discount available. And I can, if you guys message me, I'll be able to find that for you because I have to log into my account and see. But there is, and this is because we have the Trello Pro version because we have a lot of different members, and the rates change per number of members that you have. So you can have just for yourself, just a sample, the free version of it, just for your own to-do lists. But if you want to add members to it, then the cost goes up per member.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to play around myself, and this was fantastic. I mean, thank you for just even having an initial conversation on this. I think, and just like with anything with technology, you don't know what you don't know. And once you know a little bit, it kind of is painful and you think, oh my gosh, I can't do any of it. But truly, I think we just need to just dive in and just test the waters and then figure it out and see what works for our organizations. But I think especially as we are in this hybrid environment, it's, and you have a larger team and you have teams that are off-site, it just makes so much sense to be able to know what one another are doing and to continue the good work that we're doing and not having anything stop because of technology. There's really no excuse for anything to stop with tools like this. So thank you so much, Netta.
Thank
and
you for
Ari.
having me.
Thank you, Ari. So, and again, thanks to First Republic for allowing us to continue these wonderful programs to all of you. Netta, again, thank you for sharing your knowledge, and we will record this. So I could imagine watching this over and over and over again and starting to comprehend some of it a little bit more. So that's why we record. So Robin will have the link and then she'll put it up to our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is in both of our signatures, so you can always access it through any of our emails. And we have a whole library of our Zoom programs. So
On our website,
again, thank
it's on
you,
our
everybody.
webpage too.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
be well, everybody. Thank you, Netta, and join our book club.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Perfect.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.